Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to the temple and to the Brotherhood No-rehearsal Shabbat, No-rehearsal choir Shabbat. We are celebrating a little bit late the end of Genesis and the beginning of the book of Exodus. We are already in the second Torah portion of Exodus, but as Americans say, better late than never. And we begin our service singing together, Ma Yafeh Hayom Shabbat Shalom. How beautiful the day is, it is Shabbat. And turn to page 172 to sing together Matov. Turn to page 195 for the Berlow. יוצר אור ובורא חושך, עושה שלום ובורא את הכל, המאיר לארץ ולדרים עליה ברחמים, ובטובו מחדש בכל יום תמיד מעשה וראשית. מה רבו מעשיך אדוני, כולם בחוכמה עשית, מלאה הארץ קנייניך. תתברך אדוני אלוהינו, על שבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארוך הסלע. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. And we read together. The world is sunlight, restoring the soul, rejoicing the heart, bringing light to the eyes. More welcome than gold, a Torah from heaven. I have no light to give the morning. My Torah, my special human gift, is words. As I bring my words forth from silence, welcome them, you who redeems the sun from darkness. Baruch Ata Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. And we turn to page 200 for the calling of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivon Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
And you shall know the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
We're reading this Shabbat from the Torah, the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus. We're still in the process of oppression and servitude to the Egyptians. It's a lot about the plagues, but we all know what the story is going to bring us, and in 2 weeks from now we will be reading about how we left Egypt. That is the Torah portion which is Beshalach, and how we across the Sea of Reeds, and out of excitement to the glory of Adonai our God, the people of Israel, led by Miriam and the women and Moses, sang Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai. We turn to page 204 to sing together. Tefillah on page 205. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Source of all being, we turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives, their quest is ours. Help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. You are the open door that beckons me in. Peeking around the door frame, I begin to enter into your glory. You move me forward, O Eternal, to step beyond self-made boundaries. Lift my foot over the threshold that I might abide with you. In the house of the Eternal, I found my questions waiting to be posed. They filled me with wonder. Sit with me, Eternal Teacher. Encourage my seeking. As I fill my hours with your mitzvot, so shall I be filled. Send me through your door, stretching up to honor your name, sharing out this wonder, enriching myself in the giving. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך על הארץ, כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו, מה אדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו ושכנתיש, ושפחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated.
ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. זכי למעשי וראשית שבת. זכי למעשי וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שמרי 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 שבת, תגמורי עונג שבת.
And we turn to page 216 as we read together the prayer for Shalom. O God, may we never become complacent, faltering in our effort to build a world of peace. Let the nations know and understand that justice and right are better than dominion and conquest. May all come to see that it is not by might nor by power, but by your Spirit that life prevails. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Take a moment for a silent prayer. Turn now to page 253 for the prayer called Mishe Berach, a prayer for courage and strength and healing. We name in our hearts those we know that need healing and strength and courage as we sing together. We turn now to Seder Kriyat Torah, the order of reading from the Torah on Shabbat, on page 244. Please rise.
Adonai
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great, holy is God's name.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai Agidula, Agidura, Agivir, Bihanitza, Bihahod. Kivul bashamayim uvaretz, Kivul bashamayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, V'hamid nasi lichol lirosh.
Please be seated. Our Torah portion is the second Torah portion in the book of Exodus. We have 4 Torah portions that are telling about the enslavement or how we became servants under bondage to Egypt and to Pharaoh. And then the rest of the book of Exodus and continues through Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy is the story of our redemption, our salvation, coming out of Egypt and wandering in the desert for the 40 years. Our Torah portion is focused on the plagues. 7 of the 10 plagues are there, but before the plagues there is a very famous speech of Moses, a speech that we also repeat when we tell the story of the Exodus from Egypt to our children, grandchildren, and to ourselves in the Passover Agadah. This is quoted, so it might sound familiar. Actually, the structure of the Agadah is based on this speech. So we will read those verses, which are in chapter 6, beginning on verse 2. It's the beginning of our Torah portion. And maybe the end of the result of the speech is what forces Adonai and Moses to create the 10 plagues that brought so much misery on all of the Egyptians. So let's first say the blessing in page 250, and then we'll do the reading.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach,
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
וידבר אלוהים אל משה ויאמר אליו, אני אדוני, וארא אל אברהם, אל יצחק ואל יעקב, באל שדי, ושמי אדוני לא נודעתי להם. וגם הקימותי את בריתי איתם, לתת להם את ארץ כנען, את ארץ מגוריהם אשר גרו בה, וגם אני שמעתי את נאקת בני ישראל, אשר מצרים מעבידים אותם, ואזכור את בריתי. לכן אמור לבני ישראל, אני אדוני, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים, והצלתי אתכם מעבדותם, וגאלתי אתכם בזרוע נטויה ובשפטים גדולים, ולקחתי אתכם לי לעם, והייתי לכם לאלוהים, וידעתם כי אני אדוני אלוהיכם, המוציא אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. והבאתי אתכם אל הארץ אשר נשאתי את ידי לתת אותה לאברהם, ליצחק וליעקב, ונתתי אותה לכם מורשה, אני אדוני. וידבר משה כן אל בני ישראל, ולא שמעו אל משה מקוצר רוח ומעבודה קשה. God spoke to Moses and said to him, I am Adonai. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, but I did not make myself known to them by my name Adonai. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as sojourners. I have now heard the moaning of the Israelites because the Egyptians are holding them in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the Israelite people, I am Adonai. I will free you from the labors of the Egyptians and deliver you from their bondage. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and through extraordinary plagues and signs, and I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I, Adonai, am your God, who freed you from the labors of the Egyptians. I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you for a possession. I, Adonai. But when Moses told this to the Israelites, they would not listen to Moses, their spirit crushed by cruel bondage. This is the most encouraging, uplifting speech possible. The rabbis count there what they called 4 times language that means redemption, but in different ways. It's actually 5, but they count 4. That's why the number 4 is so important for the Passover Seder, the 4 children, the 4 questions, the 4 glasses of wine. That's the structure of the Passover Seder. So you can say that's the most important piece of which we tell the story of the Exodus from Egypt to our children and to ourselves. This is how we see the story. There's a huge downer at the end when the people don't listen, telling us that when you have people that their spirit is crushed, when you have people that are under bondage, they cannot hear such a message even if it's so encouraging. But I want to mention something else that is in the beginning there. In the beginning, God says, and by the way, it is not chronologically correct. Adonai appears already in the book of Genesis, but that's not important. God says to Moses, to everyone before you, I was known as El Shaddai, the God of hosts, or I was known as Elohim, God, but I wasn't known as in my personal name. I am really called Adonai. That's my personal a name that we are not allowed, I mean, it's not Adonai, it's the Yud Hey Vav Hey, which we're not allowed to pronounce, and we don't know how to pronounce. But Moses knew, Aaron knew, because God appeared to them and says, that's my real name. You know, even in, and I'm not comparing God to a person, but even in personal situations, there are people that are not known by their names. I went through an army basic training, 6 months, very long months, where I didn't know the name of any of my commanders. We would call them either the commander sergeant or the commander, the officer, or the commander. I don't know how the name in English. It's between a sergeant and a private, but it's still above you when you're in basic training. And only in the last day of basic training, and it was like a wow moment, a really revelation moment, the commander said, and now you can call me Amir. All of a sudden he became a human being. Before that he was kind of like God. You know, there is a book by a famous psychologist in Israel about the basic training experience, and it's called, and I really shouldn't say it here in a sacred place, I saw my officer peeing in the restroom. like you have that awe and that fear towards the officer in basic training, that you don't think that they actually go to the restroom and do that. By the way, on our Torah portion, the rabbis, there's a beautiful midrash about Pharaoh, because Pharaoh is like God, so he always went to the restroom in secrecy, because like if he really goes to the restroom, then he's not God, he's a real human being. This is a wow moment, not like what I was describing, God forbid, where God says to Moses, from now on, we're on first name basis. We're not on, I am your God and you're Moses, but we're on first name Moses. And we all know what that means when you move a relationship from a relationship of fear and awe and looking above you at someone like they're not a real person. Here it's not a real person, it's God, into a personal first name basis relationship. And I think that is just as wow moment as the promise to redeem us from Egypt. Because it's like saying, it's not just that I'm going to do it as your God. I am really here for you. I am really here almost as breaking all the barriers that are between divinity and human being. And hopefully we can build such a relationship with God in our own life, a relationship that we feel that with the fear and with the awe, we have towards God that kind of intimacy that we can feel that we're on first name basis, even though we don't know how to pronounce that name of Adonai. Shabbat Shalom, and let's do the blessing after reading from the Torah. Please, Jennifer. Please rise, everyone.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe לפני בני ישראל, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה, על פי אדוני ביד משה, ביד משה. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל.
And we turn now to page 283 in our prayer book, as we're about to read together in the middle of page 283. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
ואנחנו עורבים ומשתחווים ומודים לפניך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך.
Please be seated. We continue together on page 287. We read at the top. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech. May we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom,
and of peace.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדם
thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember especially Jose Maza, Henry Berg Brousseau, Maurice Berman, Stephen Frocht, Kimberly Goldberg, David Gomberg, Edith Gruber, Juliette Karp, Chris Alfonso, Horace Blanc, Selma Merenblum, S. David Miller, Jean Morris, Lois Stern, Sherry Stifler, Molly Klein, Jane Weinberg, Nina Balin, Fred Kagan, Miguel Drezer, Sarah Feitelson, C. Worrell Fisher, Lawrence Herman, Robert LaSalle, Joseph Ornstein, William J. Simon, Nadav Ariel Yoel, Julie Benjamin, Glenn Harry Gelfenbein, Betty Haskell, Sylvia Canter, Alice Lyons, Lorraine Marcourt, Lillian Seligman, Bernard I. Siegel, David N. Stifler, Dennis Fine, Ida Lippi, Zeldon Lipsky, Lothar Marx, Louis Beiser, Leah Israelson, Iris Caviar, Edith Seligman, Lina Uslander, Hyman Weiser, H. Lauren Rothenberg, Howard Grossman, Michael Polanski, Euphorcina Flores. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. With the blessed memories of our loved ones, we rise as we turn to page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. זיכרונם לברכה. May the memory of our loved ones come to be a blessing and a benediction. Amen. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom.
Shalom.
for the wonderful No-rehearsal Brotherhood choir. May you continue to go from strength to strength. We are all invited for a real Sinai matzah, gravlax, and bourbon, and all kinds of treats that the Brotherhood are providing as we celebrate the 2 weeks later celebration of finishing the book of Genesis. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.